In the world of dating and relationships, one thing has become very clear to me, and that is, well, many things have, but one of those things is attraction matters. I'll say it again, attraction matters. Now, I didn't say looks. We're not talking about how someone specifically looks, but attraction. Someone has to be drawn to you. You have to be drawn to them. You have to find them appealing in some way, shape, or form. There has to be a strong enough attraction in order to form a romantic relationship. All right. And a lot of times I see women who get discouraged or who think negatively because in their mind, oh, men are just all caught up on looks. They want a woman that looks this way or that way. And because I don't look like this, I have no hope. And it's like, wait a minute, slow down, because different men like different things. That's number one. But then two, understand that no matter how you look, there are things you can do to become more attractive. All right. And it's not as hard as people think. Okay. Now, of course, depending on if you have certain goals in mind, then they may require more intense measures. But if you just want to make yourself more attractive, and as I mentioned, the title, Irresistible, all right, there's some very simple things you can do, easy ways to accomplish that. So I'm going to lay it out for you because that's what I'm here for. All right. And one of the first things I think a lot of people, a lot of women do not think about for an easy way to become more attractive and irresistible to men is stop stressing so much. All right. Let me say that again. Stop stressing so much. Now, I know that's easier said than done. All right. I know some of y'all are dealing with a lot and you're tired, you're mentally exhausted. And you deal with a lot of maybe negativity and other people's stress and things of that nature. And there's a lot that you have to balance and deal with. I get it. But if you don't learn how to decompress or how to not take in all that negative energy, right? Then what happens is it starts to show up in other ways in you. It starts to show, whether you realize it or not. It may show up in your attitude. It may show up in the energy that you give off. It may show up in your face. There's a lot of people. I can tell you personally, I'm not going to speak for all men, but I've seen women you could tell they're pretty women, but you can see the stress on their face. I've even seen women, younger women, who look like they've already lived 100 lives or something. Like you could just see they've been through so much by the stress on their face, and that stress makes you less attractive. And I don't want to say that in an insulting way, but it's just the reality of it, okay? And so many are not unpacking and releasing a lot of that negative energy, and it's carrying with them, all right? And then again, it's not just carrying on with them in your everyday life, and that has its own negative impact, but then it carries on even when you do meet men. So you may, because understand this, you may be attractive enough to get men and even get men that you like, but if you're not, why not tap into your full potential? You know? And if something like overstressing is happening to you, trust and believe it's going to start to have an impact on your dating experiences, on your relationships, and sometimes it's exactly what throws things off. I remember one time, this is not the greatest stress example, but it is an example of having too much on your plate. So I spoke at an event in Toronto, and a woman came to me and she said, I'm having a hard time with dating. I can't seem to meet men who can fit my lifestyle or who can understand all that I'm dealing with. I'm like, all right, well, what do you have going on? And I can't remember the exact list, but it was like, she's a mother. She had like 2 jobs. She DJs on the side. Like she had all these things. And I said, wait a minute. So how do you expect a man to walk into all that and feel good about the situation when you don't have any time for a man? You don't have any time for yourself. Forget the man. You don't have time for yourself. So on top of very little time to give him, even when you do meet a man and you date him, you're burnt out. or you're carrying all that stress and weight from all these things that you're dealing with. So, all that to say, listen, some of you have to take a step back. This is hitting my spirit, so I'm going to say it. Do not be mad at me because I think some of y'all may take issue with this. But I'm saying this with love and I'm trying to be as real as possible. I've seen a lot of mothers. This is specifically for the mothers out there, single mothers. I've seen a lot of women who, part of what contributes to their dating struggle is they have their kids, maybe one or more, and they have their kid in all these different activities, all right? Cheerleading or basketball, baseball, all these different things. And she's like, I don't have any time because I have to take him here and I got to take him there. And I'm like, listen, I'm all for the child experiencing different things. But do they have to experience all of it at once? All right? Like, listen, if it's going to be at the expense of your peace, at the expense of you having a more balanced life, at the expense of you being able to meet someone that you can share life with, I'm going to at least encourage you to reconsider. Again, I think, and the crazy thing is I see these parents do this sometimes, and the kid ends up not even always like, I've seen some situations where the kid actually didn't even care about any of it, all right? They were just doing it because the mother wanted them to do it. So it's like, listen, just make sure you're not overdoing it, whether that be with your kids, with yourself, whatever, and you just create some time for you, but also time that a man can actually walk into your life and be able to spend that time with you, all right? But to get back to the original point, lower the stress. So I'm just going to give you some quick things to help you with de-stressing. Of course, I believe healing is the number one thing you should do, right? You need to heal. But be mindful of your home environment. Create an environment that helps bring more peace and less stress to you. So for some of you, that might be investing in getting candles, all right? Some of you may like candles. You may just need to light one, get a nice smelling one that helps calm you down, things of that nature. Prayer and meditation is going to be another thing to add to your lifestyle that can help with de-stressing. Looking into your diet and what you're eating and what things can help you. One herb that comes to mind that might work for some of you is ashwagandha, all right? It helps with calming you down, lowering cortisol, all these things. I'm not a doctor, do your research, but it does work for some people. For some of you, a nice glass of red wine, all right, could be good for you. Don't become an alcoholic, okay? Don't overboard. But a nice one glass, if you can handle it, could be good. There's a lot of things, and I think I'll make a whole separate video on that. But the point is, identify what you can start doing. And in regards to the home environment, whether that even be music, all right? For me, I stretch in the morning and I play this thing called soaking worship music, all right? And this is very like instrumental, calming instrumental, and I use that as I do my stretches and my breath work and all these types of things. That can be great for you. And starting your morning with stretching and breath work can help set the tone for the rest of the day to help allow you to be more calm. So either way, lower the stress level and watch yourself become a more attractive individual. All right, so now here's another easy way to become more attractive and more irresistible to men, and that is don't play hard to get. Now, I know some of y'all may have sucked your teeth, all right, and shook your head, and some of you believe in the whole men need to chase, and you feel like men are just weak today. I've heard it all right? But listen, especially we're talking about grown adults here, nobody wants to be sitting here having to jump through a bunch of unnecessary hoops to get to know you or to be able to proceed in a relationship with you. I'm not saying be easy, so to speak. I'm not saying be a pushover. I'm not saying the man doesn't need to put in an effort, right? I believe in a mutual effort in building a relationship. But what I am saying is do not make things unnecessarily difficult. Because when you do make yourself less attractive. Now, I know there's this idea and perception that no, you become more attractive because men like a challenge and men are hunters and all these things. Listen, one, there is some level of truth to men like a challenge, but it's not in regards to women when they're genuinely trying to pursue her. So I always say, once a man is actually interested, once emotions are actually invested, the man does not want things to be difficult. No man is saying, oh, I hope she makes it hard for me. I've never heard a man who really likes a woman say that, all right? It's only maybe applicable to guys chasing who are looking for just to sleep with you. And it's also in the sense of a lot of men want a woman who can't be had by everybody. But that's not the same as difficult to get her. Let me be more specific, or let me explain that a little bit better. So listen, there's nothing wrong with a woman should have standards. So a woman who has no standards is easily gotten, all right? Any man can come around, do something nice for her, and they get her, all right? Men aren't looking for that. Serious-minded men, they don't want it to be like you're just so easy that any guy could have gotten you, right? However, if he's a guy, he's showing up, he's pursuing you, he doesn't want you making things unnecessarily difficult just to get him. He doesn't want you playing games with him, playing cat and mouse, all these different things. Because what I've always said is, listen, going back to a point of once he actually is serious and genuinely likes you, those moments of you giving resistance can create more doubt and uncertainty, can create insecurities, can create thoughts of, man, maybe she doesn't like me. You know, is she trying to play me? It can do more harm than good. All right. And let me tell you this, I tell the same thing to men in reverse. When men are told all these tips and tricks, I'm like, listen, man, that might work with the casual situation that you're not serious about, but with the girl that you really like and she actually likes you, you will actually sabotage your situation. So you got to be very mindful of that. So no need for the unnecessary stuff. No need for the chasing. It's about, can you both show up for each other and make a mutual effort to build a healthy relationship. All right, so let's keep this thing going. And another one that I have to mention, and you may have heard me talk about it before, an easy way to become more attractive and more irresistible to men is smell good, all right? I say it all the time. Smelling good makes everybody at least a little bit cuter, all right? At least a little bit. It gives a couple points, all right? And what's so unfortunate is, you know, I'm someone who, I do a lot of events, I meet people all the time, and I feel like a lot of people do not utilize the power of smelling good, right? And especially, unfortunately, believe it or not, especially in marriages and long-term relationships, it's like they just don't even care no more. A lot, not all, but many of them. And I have to acknowledge, yes, a lot of men, same issue with them. But back to y'all, back to smelling good. It's powerful. Now, one of the keys is you got to start from within. All right. So I had mentioned in the previous video how, listen, I'm going to be real with y'all. There's been moments where I've met people and they may have smelled a little funky. Now, I don't want anyone who's ever met me to think I'm sorry about you, but I'm just saying, I'm just being real. And I don't take no issue with it because I understand sometimes you may not be aware, you may not understand, but I think a lot of it starts with our diets, all right, and what we're putting in our body. If we want to smell good, slapping on lotion and perfume is cool, but what are you doing for the inside? Now, something that can be very powerful to start taking that can help with that internal self is chlorophyll, all right? Again, not a doctor, do your research, but I've used chlorophyll. It's a very good thing. It's like an internal deodorant, and it has plenty other benefits as well. So I think that's a great place to start, as well as, of course, looking at your diet, because I'll say this, when we're trying to understand what's best for our diet, it's about learning what our bodies digest better. Because if you cannot digest and break something down well, it will sit in your gut, it will fester, and that's how we start to get bad smells, or one of the ways, I believe, to my understanding, that contributes to that, okay? So learning what digests properly within your body is important. Now, I'm a big believer of eating for your blood type. A lot of people don't care about it or think it's real. To each their own is something to at least look at and consider. but also pay very close attention to when you eat certain things, what causes you to bloat. I remember when I used to get full and bloated, I thought that was just a part of eating. That's what it was, not realizing, no, bloating is a sign that I'm eating something that I'm not properly digesting. All right. And once I removed it, it made things a lot easier. And believe it or not, one of those things for me was bananas. Don't know why. Don't know why. But I can't eat no bananas. All right. But anyways, so you may be surprised what it might be for you. But if you can, do some research, look into it. So we start with the internal. We look at something like chlorophyll. There's other things I'm sure we can take a look at or research that may help as well. But then, yes, finding scents that work with your body, because it's not simply about, oh, this is the popular smell that everyone's getting. Okay, cool, but just because everybody's getting it doesn't mean it's going to work for you. And it's not just about, it's about how well it smells on you and how long it lasts on you. All right? And you want to find the combination of those two things. And I would encourage you to get the opinion of a man when you're testing out different smells. Because yes, I'm not saying the women can't give you a good opinion, but if the idea is to become more attractive and irresistible to men, well, let's see what a man has to say about it. And of course, different men can have different opinions, but I do believe there's a greater chance of hitting over the target if you get the opinion of a man. So, perfumes, lotions. Now, I will just say for me, because I am very much into the holistic way of life, oils are a good thing to also explore. My colognes are oil-based, right? Less chemicals in them. That can be very beneficial. So I want to encourage that, but I know some people may not care and be like, nah, I'll do my perfume or whatever. So that's cool too. But definitely smelling good. And I think, listen, I think you want to have at least one, like something that's your everyday go-to. And maybe that one thing that you wear on your fancy nights out, your dates, whatever. But understand, you don't need a whole plethora of different smells. Like, just find things that work for you and roll with that. I got a cologne that every time I wear it, get compliments. I don't have to wear a bunch of different ones. So anyways, smelling good, very powerful, will definitely make you more attractive. All right, now, before I continue, be sure to go to my shop, stephonspeakshop.com, where you can get tickets to my next event, as well as my books, my coaching sessions, you name it, it's all there. stephonspeakshop.com, or click the link in the description or in the comment section. Hey, thank you for watching this video. Be sure to check this one out right here, and I'll see you there. A masculine man desires a feminine woman. And the reality is that a lot of you ladies desire a masculine man. Now, some of you might be feeling like, well, there ain't that many going around anymore. That's a whole nother discussion. But the